So, in this episode, I'm answering a question. I was asked to say a few words about how the masculine, which I'm always talking about masculinity and masculine energy, how the masculine serves as an ordering principle in fatherhood. To answer this, I'm going to have to, I'm going to use a little bit of energetic language because I'm talking about energetics here. I'm not talking about actual men and actual women. When I talk about masculine and feminine, right? Both men and women have masculine and feminine part to them. That's clear. And really, what I'm talking about is the masculine function. This is a kind of very philosophical way of looking at masculine and feminine. And again, it's not necessarily men and women, but there is something natural about the way men and women mostly function. And of course, men and women both take part of the masculine function and the feminine in their personal life, in their relationships, in the family dynamic. So I want to look at two, I'm always splitting things into two parts, right? There's the ordering principle of how the masculine shows up as an ordering principle in you, the father, and how you exercise your fatherhood, and also how it shows up as an ordering principle in your family dynamic, how you inject, if you will, the the masculine energy into your family and what that looks like. So if we start by talking about you yourself, this masculine energy that I'm talking about is a sort of a framework. It's a framing, it's a structure of how you bring your ideas, your goals, your dreams, your visions into reality, into the physical world. So, those things are just ideas floating out in the ether. Um, your dreams, your visions, your desires, and something has to happen to turn them into some kind of reality, some actual stuff. And it's this masculine framework that applies systems, structures, scaffolding, plans, um, resources, materials, tools. That's the masculine piece, okay, of bringing your creativity, like it's basically what's coming from your feminine side, right? The creativity, the the ideas, those the little sparks of genius, the chaos all of that genius energy is chaos, and that's the feminine thing. So you are sourcing from the feminine part of yourself, your dreams and goals, and you're using the masculine part of yourself to make some kind of container to turn it into something in the real world, okay? When we talk about where how the masculine is providing this kind of ordering principle in your family, the structure there is the strategy of applying your willpower, your resources, your talents, your tools to bring your vision and dream of your family into reality. And that means that's about raising your kids to be the kind of people that you think will become happy and self sufficient and successful in life. That is your family dream. Okay. So the masculine principle is you creating this a kind of strategic environment where you are applying things like boundaries, like limits, like consequences, and not in a harsh way, because I just hate this idea that there is something toxic about masculinity. I'm very much against that whole myth. It's not harsh, it's that it's there, that the boundaries are there, that they exist, that you are placing yourself. You are placing yourself as the father at all the important boundaries of life so that you can corral or rein in or direct or conduct this performance of how your family moves forward, of how your kids grow and develop. So, in a way, we can talk about the boundaries and limits being about how you manage the way your children engage with risk versus how that turns into recklessness when there are no guidelines, no boundaries, no sense of what's pushing too far. Because the job of the kids is to push against the boundaries. Let's be clear, right? They're not boundaries if everybody's happy about them. It's the job of the kids to find how to push. That's what they do. That's how they grow. They're looking to find you at every exit point. And as they get older and older, of course, the boundaries loosen in a sense that they are allowed to move farther away from you and to experiment more and to engage more with risk. But you're always standing there and they know that you're there at the boundary. That's the difference. So, femininity, if we're going to just talk about what the feminine principle gives, if the masculine principle is about ordering and structure and boundaries and limits and engaging with risk, the feminine is about connection and relationship and family and bonds. So, what happens very often when when parents get divorced, is that the mom steps into a kind of unhealthy masculine energy. It's like zipping up a jumpsuit of a kind of masculine energy that she thinks is the way to win by by bullying, okay? By using force in a way, by using blackmail or threats against you, against the kids, by playing dirty. That somehow it feels like a kind of masculine strength that she feels that maybe she was lacking before, in terms of being respected or being taken seriously, those things that we ascribe more to a masculine energy, right? But that is what toxic masculinity really is. It's using force to create outcomes. That is toxic. And that has nothing to do, that's just toxic behavior. And that happens, um, that is practiced by both men and women, right? Using force to create outcomes is the toxic piece. So often what happens to the dads is that instead of staying in this role of leadership and strategy and structure, they now retreat into a place of being all about relationships and connection, and about, I need my kids to love me. I need to become all warm and fuzzy so that they want to be with me, right? And that is not the energy where you belong, even if, of course, it's a part of how you interact with your kids around relationships and affection and love, whatever. But that the thing that's driving you in your day-to-day actions should not be an overriding need or awareness of relationships and connection and bonds. That your strength and the thing that your kids really want from you is this ordering, this feeling of you being at the top of the family structure, in the sense that you are providing the order to the family. And that can still easily be happening even after a divorce. You can still be in charge, not by force or by threats or by bullying, but by understanding what you're providing to your kids and how to do that. So, another way of looking at an ordering principle, ordering in the sense of prioritization, that you are ordering the life issues in order of what matters most. and what matters least, or what matters at all and what doesn't matter. So I would say that prioritization is kind of a subset of the idea of strategy, but certainly ordering refers to the order of things that matter in your family and the way that you're raising your kids. So, just for example, what matters more to you, success or effort? And there's no right answer to this. People raise, healthy, self-sufficient, happy children in both of those models. But this is what I'm talking about, that it's your model that matters to your kids, because that's the one that you are raising them in. And it needs to be outlined in a clear way for them. That really helps them to feel that they're getting what they need from you. Let's look at another one. Like, where do you order honesty versus integrity? Because those aren't the same thing. And again, there is no right answer, really. Okay? Like, anybody can put anything before anything else, but it's the ordering principle that where the masculine steps in and makes the rules, so to speak, about how the family functions and how to engage with the world. What about, like, individual striving versus teamwork? Like, where do those things fit in your worldview? This is kind of what I'm talking about. And when I work with dads, particularly, I've done this work in the Patronus College, which is coming up again. That's why I'm mentioning it. You're going to have a chance to register for that if you're interested in participating. And I think everybody needs to be in this container. It's a phenomenal training for divorced dads. But learning how to prioritize your values. This is what we work on, because you need to know who you are. You need to know who you are so that you can clearly show it to your kids in the least amount of time possible, because sometimes the amount of time that you have is very small indeed. So you need to reorient yourself to how you are going to demonstrate the most important parts of you to your kids, and not with lectures about what your values are, but with the day by day demonstrations of this. Where do those things fit in the structure of your family? And how do you let your kids understand where they are in the order or the prioritization of things that are important for you? So, in terms of strategy, I think one of the main strategies for every divorced father, and certainly for an alienated father, the main strategy has to be perseverance. It has to be. And this is where you get to walk your talk. You get to show this strategy of perseverance to your children, not by being annoying or a stalker, right? But by showing them what it means to stand tall, to be unshakable, and to persevere. So, if you would like to get better at all of those things and learn how to show exactly, precisely those things to your children, please reach out to me and register for Patronus College. We are starting this next session on September 21st. So you can reach me at tracy@undeletabledad.com, or you can go straight to undeletabledad.com and you'll see a button to click there to learn more about Patronus College, which is my 4-month training program for dads, very much in the Harry Potter inspired Hogwarts world. We're going to learn courses on charms, on potions, on transfiguration, which is the personal development piece, and defense against the dark arts, where you're going to learn the antidotes to all kinds of forms of parental alienation. So thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.